Oh, there we go. Achi, first person up on the chats. Which one's not clicked? That one. Let's turn this around so it's facing Tony. And good evening and welcome to everybody to the Tony's Tackle C-Match channel, live from the shop. Andrew Jones, Hatchie61, how you doing? Just need to move this across. Warren Bates, Stu the Brew, Stu Morgan, how you doing, buddy? Due to the success of the last Q&A in the shop, we thought we'd do another one. Now I've got a whole list here of all the questions that I didn't manage to ask Tony. So as we go along, I'll ask a few of those questions now, and then as questions come up on the screen, I'll ask them. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my specs on so I can see what's going on. Oh, that's better. Right, David Hetherington, Brandon Loring. Right, so Robbie Roach. This was a question that come up. Do you know Robbie Roach?
Yeah, I'm speaking to him today.
Oh, right. Well, he says if he uses £25 braid, what would his shock leader be? And then he later asked fluoro or mono.
Mono, or if you use tapered mono, 15 to 60, 15 to 70 if you're a bit brutal.
Yeah.
That's the way normal, but I've been using, I think it's £64 whiplash.
Okay.
And I seem to love
so you use
braided leader. Yeah. It's very expensive just to buy a leader, but we do sell them in short lengths. But basically, there's no stretch, so I think it might cast further. But it's just so nice. But unfortunately, you will miss a few bites. But at the end of the day, you get a much smaller knot. It just sails through. It's brilliant, you know. But on average, most people buy a tapered leader, Asso or whatever, or Achios.
Yeah.
And you get 5 normally on a spool. It's about $9.99. And always recommend that you cut the first around about 7 foot off, because they're so long that it probably pays just to cut 7 foot off. And then what happens if you're using a £20 line or a 25, then you're tying to about 20 or 25.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're tying to 15, you're pushing your luck really, because you're tying 15 to maybe 20, and of course you've got a weak spot.
Yeah.
Whereas if you get rid of about 7 foot, you're tying to about 18, 20.
Yeah.
So therefore it's a lot more stronger.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Bit of a guesstimate, isn't it, when you trim that bit off?
You just have to work it out. But on average, it's about 7 foot. So it's so long.
Yeah.
And you don't need that length, you know.
Yeah.
And you still get a lovely little knot. So it's not too bad, Robert.
Right, Harry, Steve Mills, evening all, mate. Harry Oakes is saying he's looking forward to the match on Sunday.
Yeah, you're all booked in, Harry, and Carl Bennett, I believe. You've got to come to the shop Saturday. If you're a long way away and you can't make the shop, we can draw for you. Quite looking forward to Sunday. It's looking better and better, the forecast. It started off pretty hairy, and it seems to have improved a bit. So hopefully there'll be quite a few fish. Rob the cod the other night. Well, he's robbed the bass now.
Oh, he had a lot,
16 bass.
I know.
With his son down at Coodon.
Yeah.
And in about 5 hours fishing, I think. He's jumping about like mad. He was today, telling me all about it. You know, they want monsters, but over 41, 42. So one of 50, I believe. Not too bad.
What bait was he using?
Just lug from here.
All right.
Yeah, just lug. A bit of squid, he was telling me.
Because I
a double shot first cast.
I was talking to somebody today, and an interesting thing. He's been using slipper limpets, and he had about 20 bass the other night on slipper limpets. Yeah.
I don't think they're too fussy when they run across that sand.
Yeah.
But a bit of lugworm's sort of key normally, you know. Maybe tip with a bit of squid or something like that.
Yeah.
But they're not too fussy. Jason Carter's, he went the other night. I nearly chased him out the shop because it was horrendous weather.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I looked at my phone and it had all dropped away.
Yeah.
Anyway, he must have realised, and he went.
Yeah.
And he caught a lovely fawn back. I think it was about £4.5, £5.
Wow. Oh,
And
Steve Kerr had.
He had a conger.
Steve Kerr had.
Steve Kerr 2 nights ago. Yeah, Steve had a nice one, didn't he?
Yeah.
At £4 or £5. So, you know, there is some good fish in between these vicious winds and rain.
Yeah. Right, a couple of questions that have come up. David Hetherington and Dave Durrant. You know,
Dave, all right?
Yeah. What about well, first of all, David Harrington's asking about circle hooks. What's your feeling about circle hooks?
A lot of my customers love them.
Yeah.
I'm not too. Suppose I've got a bit. Can't be bothered lately, but
Yeah.
I mean they are good. They go well on the top hook as well on a pennel. But I don't think you have to when you're fishing for a big fish. I mean, people like them. They love them in the boats. I stock a few.
Yeah.
They're very sharp.
Yeah.
I don't know. Jury's out on it. Really, it's what people like. If you want certain looks, you can have them. If I was in a boat, I'd probably play about a bit more and probably use them a bit more. But they say that they're very good on pennels, on the top hook of the pennel. So you know, I think that's a personal preference, really.
Yeah.
I certainly wouldn't use them match fishing, but then that's because they don't really make small ones, very small ones. They probably do.
They do.
But none of the lads use them for match fishing, you know.
Yeah. I've tried using them for matching. They're so hard to get a worm.
Are they?
onto.
Yeah.
Trying to thread a worm onto them because you've got to kind of come back at them.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. All
But
right.
it's just a personal preference, really.
Right. And Dave Durrant, what about offsetting hooks? What's your thought on that?
I think that's 100%. I've played about with, like if you get an album, put it in front of you, like a booklet, and you'll put a normal hook through it and you'll pull it straight through every time.
Yeah.
If you offset it, it'll cut into the paper.
Yeah.
And I've done that trick a few times.
Yeah.
And basically, I think it's a must to offset your hooks. I think it's a real big advantage. You don't have to go mad with them. Just get a pair of pliers, just offset them a little bit. Even Camasan B940s, just offset them a little bit. They don't break.
Well, those C-match hooks come offset already.
I tend to also kind of, if it's scratching about, you can also bend them inwards at the same time a little bit, so that you've got a narrower gape.
Right.
So I think hooks with a wide gape sometimes can be a hindrance. Because if the gape's a bit narrow and there's small dabs there, you're going to get them. So you make a size 2 into almost size 3. So it makes it slightly smaller. And if it's very finicky, and if they're finicky and they're not feeding well, you might get your dabs rather than you miss them because their mouths are smaller. You know.
I mean, to be honest, ever since I saw you do that, I've started to do that, and it does work.
Yeah, it's good. And our C-Match Blues, they're specials. They're very popular hook now. They're all offset. Yeah. I had them done. And I offset them on purpose to save all the hassle.
They are great hooks for that.
Just before you ask me another question, we lost a very famous angler this week on Tuesday morning. Melvin Moulding, known as Foggy, is a legend, you know. And I just want to sort of say that I think later on we'll do a match to tribute to him. Didn't want to do it on Sunday because it's too quick with the family and everyone's distraught. He was taken into hospital with pneumonia on Friday and he died on Tuesday morning. Most people know Melvin. He's a legend in Eastbourne. Just want to give condolences to Gina, his wife, Declan and Kaylee and Kevin, his sons and his brother and all the family really. And most people who know Foggy, he was a real character and we loved him to death, you know. So hopefully we'll do a tribute to him later. We'll do a match tributed to him and the family, and the funeral will be in a couple of weeks. It'll be massive. So okay.
All right, yeah, thanks for that. I'm sure that if anyone on here knows him or knew that, can pass on Tony's condolences. Yeah. Right. Graham Allen, I know you're anti-braid on multipliers, but why?
I only know one guy called Dave Kite, and he passed away now, and he used braid on multipliers a lot. I'm not against it. I just think you would tend to get diggings and you tend to get bird's nests. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's not something we do around here. Maybe it works, but I wouldn't like cast with braid. I think you can get, it digs in even on a fixed spool sometimes. It can dig in and it's a nightmare. And I think it would be more inclined to dig in on a multiplier because you're pumping more. But again, if you use it, you're happy with it, no problem. It's just a question of, it's my personal opinion. I wouldn't use it on a multiplier.
I use it on a multiplier. I use about £60 whip.
Might be a bit different if you use a heavier breaking straight. Yeah. But you know, like we go down to £12 line, and I'm sure with £12 line
no.
or light braid, it's going to cut in, isn't it?
Yeah. When I use
great for straight through, I would imagine it'd be all right.
Yeah, I mean I use £60 fire line on mine if I think it's going to be weedy. Yeah. Because you've got no leader knot, but I'm not casting a long way when it's like that.
No, that's right. And then also, when on your fixed spools,
Yeah.
use £60 straight
Yeah.
through.
Yeah.
If I was to do it properly, I've got a spool there with 60 straight through. If I go out the rocks bass fishing, perfect. You don't need no leader, nothing, just whack it out, you know. Terrific. But it's not me personally, I just, from what I take in, it's a little bit of a no-go. But,
Yeah.
you know, if you use it and you're happy with it, and other people might be, they are. I don't want to be controversial over it, you know.
I mean, the only problem I've ever had with it, obviously I have my brakes tied up pretty tight on the thing, so I'm not getting fluff ups. The only problem I ever had was when I had to pull for a brake, pull the lead out.
This is what I mean, it'll cut into
and
the
it cut
line,
in.
won't it?
And when I
And that's
cast the next
disastrous,
time, it
you
got
know.
out to where that thing had locked in, and it just stopped dead because it was buried in the spool.
Someone was telling me about, we got the new reel, the pen, and I can't wait. I've got one come in, I can't wait to get a new reel. So I had trouble with my reel last week, and I had trouble with my rod in the match line. The ring broke, I didn't notice. But I can't wait to get this new reel. But someone pointed out to me, because it goes up and down 50 turns very slowly, if you're not careful,
it will dive in.
It can dig in.
Yeah.
Well, that could be disastrous if it digs in. I don't think it will, personally, but it was someone I think it was Andy Baker.
Yeah.
And he said it might dig in.
Yeah.
And if it digs in, it's not good, is it?
No.
You're casting, that braid digs in.
Yeah. Well, time will tell on that.
You just might have to be a little bit careful with it, you know.
Time will tell on that. I mean, that slow oscillation will be very good with monofill, to be honest.
Terrific, I mean, it's good stuff. I mean, you can't beat it. I mean, you don't really need it to go out 4 times and back. You do want a slow oscillation, I believe. You know, for casting.
Right. Dave Clundon, Tony, have you got any Sonic HT in stock?
Yeah, I've got one here.
Just as you happen to speak, there's one there. Look, is that a pre-used, pre-loved one? Or is it a new?
It's brand new, yeah.
All right.
The only reason I haven't got 4 or 5 is because they're up by the wall at Sonic.
Yeah.
And I don't want to bore you with all this, but when we brought out our Dreamcast, we wanted it to be 15 foot.
Yeah.
Well, it ended up at 14.
Right.
The reason was it's £15 down.
Yeah.
At the post office.
Yeah.
Anything over, 3-piece 14 foot becomes 28 quid down the post office.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to compromise. What they do at Sonic is that if you was to order one off me, it goes straight from the factory.
Right.
It'll be with you. Obviously, we're in the middle of the weekend now, but if it'd be with you Monday for Tuesday, it's untouched. They're up by the wall. I've got at least 6 or 7 saved.
Yeah.
And all I do is just take the order and ship it to you.
Yeah.
If you want it to come in, it'll be Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
This one's for Paul tomorrow.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but no problem. We can get round it. We can sort it out. But that's the only reason I don't stock 4 or 5 of them, because what happens is most people I speak to, they want it sent to them.
Yeah.
And they don't really want it in the rack with everyone pulling it about.
Well, that's
and
true.
bending it. They just want a nice clean rod straight from the factory. But I know I've got over 7 up by the wall. Because there was a problem a couple of months ago, as you know, where there was a 3-month break and nobody had them. So I can get you one shipped, or if not, I can get one to here Tuesday morning. And if you want to come and look at one, this will be in here at the weekend.
Okay, right. David Hetherington, still on hooks. Why so many sizes of hook? Difference between a 3.0 and a 4.0, for instance. What's the difference between a 3.0 and a 4.0?
4.0's bigger. Yeah, I know where you're coming from, but it's just the way they're scaled.
Yeah.
And to me, unless I go sort of specimen hunting, which I don't now very often, I only need a size 2 hook for match fishing. That's all I use. 2s, maybe 3s if I can get hold of them, and 4s when it's really scratchy.
Yeah.
You don't need half of them, and a lot of them are too big. You catch a. I mean, I think it was a few years ago when I won the Nomads, and I caught this humongous bass. It was massive. And I ain't going to go on about it, but it was a big double-figure fish.
Yeah.
And I won 500 quid. And size 2, storm gal, bloody waves as high as this ceiling, got it out, took my time, set the drag. You don't have to have big hooks to catch big fish.
No.
If you're going pleasure fishing like Jason Carter does, then you want a nice big hook.
Yeah, because you're putting a big bait out.
You don't want to lose it.
And you're putting a big bait out.
If you're generally fishing, you'll be surprised what you're getting on a small hook. As long as it's strong. In Camasands, they'll hold anything, them B940s.
I quite like the adage that elephants eat peanuts.
Yeah,
So you can
that's
use a
right,
small
yeah.
bait and a small hook, and you'll catch an elephant with
Yeah,
it.
but there is a lot of sizes. But I
Yeah.
suppose that's to catch anglers because you
Yeah.
obviously sell more if you've got loads more
Yeah.
sizes on the wall. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah, you do end up with a fishing box full of all the ones that don't catch anything, though, don't you? Because you use all the little ones, all the
I'm
ones that do.
surprised they don't. I suppose it's clever, really, marketing, but I'm surprised they don't do mixed bags of hooks.
Yeah.
You know, quite a lot of mixed ones with a
Yeah.
few in at each size on. I think people will buy them.
Yeah.
But the thing is, all the time they got every size, someone will come in and maybe buy 4 packs
Yeah.
instead of 1. So it's strategy, really, isn't it? Logic.
Yeah, and I suppose with the experience of fishing, you get to know the ones that you need, like 1s, 2s, and 4Os, and what have you, and that's what you have in your tackle box.
It's a little bit confusing down the bottom end because it goes 101.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
and 6.
Yeah.
And that confuses a lot of
Yeah,
people.
so they start getting smaller and they start getting bigger again.
Yeah, that's right. It does confuse people a little bit.
Yeah.
But generally, I mean, you're easy once you get up to 1Os and 2Os and 3, you know. But below that, some people are quite confused what's what, you know.
Yeah. I'm going to go and buy some a packet of 24s. They'll be monstrous, and when they turn up, you have to use a microscope to see them. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Okay. Right. Tony's looking smarter tonight.
Who's that? Not David, is it?
No, Mark Edwards it is.
Yeah. I made an effort, Mark. I was told I looked like a tramp.
All right, yeah. Hello, CJ. Hello, TK. That's Robert Taylor. Richard Jarvis. Hello, mate. Richard Jarvis. Hi in the chat. Oi, oi, Rich. Right, please show. Yeah. Please give us a thumbs up and all that. We've got 124 watching and 26 thumbs up at the moment. Come on, guys, give us a thumbs up. Right, yeah. Paul Fry is a good question. I'll ask Tony this first, and then I'll give you my answer on it. Hi, Chris and Tony. What do you think about using a multiplier on the Sonic Gravity HT?
I think it would make no difference whatsoever. But somebody mentioned yesterday that he used a multiplier on a Sonic HT in a shop, funny enough, this week. And he said it doesn't go so well with his multiplier.
Oh, okay.
I can't see why, because them rings are not big.
No.
There's no reason at all that it won't cast as well with a multiplier.
And there's plenty of tip
any
rings,
reason at all. But he did say, it was actually yesterday, believe it or not. I can't remember who it was someone in the shop. And he said, the multiplier don't go so well on that HT as the fixed ball. The only thing I can think of, but then even with a multiplier, the first ring's quite a long way away.
Yeah, it is. It's a hell of a long way.
With a multiplier, it still comes off like this from the spool of a multiplier. When you hit it, the pendulum cast, it comes up in the air like that. So it's still got a channel through the ring. Yeah. So I'm not quite sure. I would say that it wouldn't make much difference at all. You know?
I mean, I like to cast a multiplier on a reel down. On the rod, so you'd need an adjustable reel seat.
Again, that's personal preference. So, and I'm reel down.
Yeah.
But basically, that's one of the hindrances. Obviously, if it was a sliding fitting, you could do reel down and do it.
But then Gerald's adapted his, isn't he? He's put a reel down on his. He casts with a fixed ball.
My Dreamcast 4 when it comes out in January, February. I'm hoping that'll do both.
Yeah.
I can't see why not.
Yeah.
Should cast well with a multiplier as well as a fixed ball.
But I mean, going back to my answer to that question, I've never tried it, so I can't comment really. I only ever use fixed ball on my HT because of it being the reel up. And I've got other rods that I'd cast with multipliers. So yeah, okie dokie. In fact, it brings me to a question that someone asked in the question from last week. There was quite a good question. Yeah.
Forgot it.
Can't find it. Oh yeah, I've got this is from Withy69. Right. He's got a 13'6" black rock competition, and he can't get any distance with it. He's got 2 of them, in fact. Is it because there are too many eyes? I mean, he doesn't really give us much information. He doesn't tell us whether he's using fixed ball or multiplier.
Is that an SS?
No, it's a 36 black rock competition. Again. I mean, if Withy69's on here, then we need a little bit more before we can answer that question, really.
I should be familiar with it. I'm trying to think. I thought it was an SS10.
Well, I've got an SS10. It's got competition on it.
There's the big, the longer one. It may be that one. That should fly. That should. And it's not going out, no?
That's what he says. That's what he says. He just wonders if it's got too many eyes. Well, I don't think the number of eyes will make that much difference, to be honest. Particularly, you want plenty of eyes if you're using multiplier.
Yeah, I can't see the eyes making any difference. It might be the rod might be too powerful, but I don't think most of them rods are not that powerful, to be honest with you.
I find I've got an SS10. I find it very forgiving.
Yeah, they're a good rod. You know, a lot of people like them. That they're easy to use. Yeah, I don't know. It's a difficult one. That maybe if he can compare it with something else, if he brings it in, and or if he's around, and I can bring it in, and we'll have a look.
Yeah.
There is a lot of rods out there that cast really well easy, and there's a lot of rods that are hard work.
Well, I mean, I
was mentioning this because we got the Century account.
Yeah.
And Ian bought a rod today. It comes in Ian Barker, and it's absolutely brilliant. He's looked at it and realised he's not a mammoth caster.
Yeah.
And he's bought the ultralight graphics.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I put it together here today, and for most of the average guys that come in here, they're all going to buy the sport over there and all this.
Yeah.
But a lot of them, like we've gone through this before, and it's boring, but they go over the top of what they want. Yeah. That rod he bought today, if he goes down, he's an average guy, he'll cast it a long way. It was 14 foot, it was very light, you know, and it done the job. A bit like that Fireblade down there, which might show you later on. It'll bend. You know, that's a nice rod.
I have to say, when I got my HT initially, I was a bit surprised that I couldn't bend it. I had to work it.
Another aspect to that is the easiest rod to cast, I thought, was our Dreamcast Mark III.
Yeah, no, easy.
Right, now, Jim Whippy, I gave him one because he helped me with the book and everything. And then he went on the field, and he's not a mammoth caster. And he got a HT. Yeah. Tried it. Yeah. Because Colin had one, his mate. Yeah. And he reckons he went 25 yards further with an HT. So they are quite, although they're powerful, which they are, they're still quite easy to cast. You know, and a lot of people like them. So it's a very popular rod.
What's that with the HT?
Yeah, the HT.
Yeah. I mean, you only got
Sonic HT is a popular rod. Yeah. And it does work for people who are not great at casting. So it has got that advantage, you know. I think maybe it's because it's so long, because it's nice and long.
Yeah. Right, Andrew, I'm again, we've got a lot coming in. Right, so Andrew Jones, when using rock and bottom rigs, how long is your light line on the weight and what pound? Thanks. So what weight strain do you do? If you're using a rock and bottom, I guess he means.
That varies a lot. It's a different one, would you? I think. I suppose about that. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I tend to use a rotten bottom that's on a very short rotten bottom, and it's on a breakaway clip, so that it's lit to the heavy weight.
That's what I mean. We do rock release, and if you put them on that, you can even pendulum cast it out. Yeah. And basically, you can have it how you like, but you have this little bit here, the rotten bottom. Yeah, that's all. It goes onto the pendulum thing. Yeah. And then what happens is when you're in the rock, that'll just come out. Yeah. But if I was just putting a rotten bottom on, I'd probably go equal. Yeah. But make sure you can't go casting like mad. No. But basically make sure it's there to break off on a pulley rig or something. Yeah. Okay. But most people use there's all kinds of clips now you can use for that. Yeah. And there's a rock release which we done years ago. There's a breakaway type one. They've all copied them over the years. I think we were the first with that, to be honest, with a rock release. And I still sell them up in Scotland now. Amazing, you know. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually made some myself with a bit of wire, and I used a washer rather than a bead. So as soon as it hits the water, the washer pushes away and it releases it.
Because as it hits the water, it comes off, and then you've got your very small bit of 12-pound line or whatever you want to use, and it'll break off every time. Yeah. Years ago, you used to use spark plugs up the rocks. Just use spark plugs, bang them out. Yeah. So if you lost them, it didn't matter, you know.
Yeah, no, quite. Right. Clayton Sams. Tony, it's Clayton Sams from Brighton. When is your next match at He says Langley Point. This is one of my pet hates. It's Langley Point with a N in the middle. It's not Langley Point, because Langley is near Slough. Nowhere near here. Langley Point.
Well, I used to live in Langley Green in Crawley. That's where I was born.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
That's probably why some people called it Langley years ago. But
the next.
Well, it's a match Sunday.
And
it's 8 till 12. It's full up, unfortunately. We can only take 27. We'll have a big match in the new year, but 27's enough, you and me.
Yeah.
So it goes from the sewage works to the swimming pool.
Right.
8 till 12 Sunday morning. We're not doing pairs this week. Some of the guys are moaning about pairs. Other people like it. I like it because I think it brings people back. But basically this week we're just going to pay straight down, and we're going to pay down to about 12. Because people like Gerald, there's a few of them moaning, and same old people. And we give it a go, and then perhaps the next one I'll do pairs again. But I like the pairs because I think you've got a chance if you don't fish a lot, if you get with someone who's done fantastic on the day, and you think you've had it, and you go back and you've won a little bit of money, and it's nice. And we want to see people winning money. Like Steve Ursa was coming from Cheltenham this week. He's coming all the way down to fish the match. It'd be lovely if he just got an envelope, you know. It'd just be great, you know. And it's his birthday, 60th.
All right.
You know, and he's going to stay down here and fish the over 50s next.
Oh, he is as well. I saw that.
Nice guy, you know. And I think it's people like that that you want to see get a bit of money, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why we're going to pay down further this week.
All right. Okay. Have you ever thought of doing species points?
Too much hassle. It's bad enough working out them pairs.
Yeah.
It's very nice in the over 50s and let them get on with it. But it's, as Dan Wood pointed out, it's bad enough working out these pairs.
Yeah, no, quite.
And we have to do it pretty quick. You've got 28 people.
Yeah.
And believe me, I'm telling you now, because we've had this in the past, I've had the controversy of it. There's people in there and they've got the wrong points. We try our best to check them on the day, but there's going to be slip-ups there. And it's not fair, really.
No,
it's
quite.
bad enough trying to check them without checking all their species points.
Yeah.
It's fine if you've got a little match, a 6 here.
Yeah.
But when you get 28 and you've got to go through all that,
God,
we'll be in there from 12 o'clock finish till 1:30, 1:45 doing the prize giving, you know.
Yeah.
And everyone wants to get home, don't they?
So, I mean, I have seen some of these complicated matches in the prize givers, not hours after the.
It's fine if you're going back to a club and you've got all that time to work it out, and you've got cups and shields and you know, and proper stuff there. Yeah. But what we do, we do it up on the beach when we finish, and we're all off down the pub or wherever you want to go, you know.
All right. Yeah.
Or out for Sunday lunch, like some people.
Sunday, out for a Sunday pint. Or Sunday several pints. Right, Lee Williams, these are questions from the last one, which I didn't manage to ask. Lee Williams, why did Tony switch from the multiplier to the fixed ball?
Because I've got old. I said about it last week, I'd love to just chuck a pendulum cast at high tide. And I can. Yeah. But I'm not like the big boys, but I'm all right. And I would go further than the fixed ball. But for convenience and, you know, speed, you just... You know, if the tide's running, if it's flooding that way, and I'm fishing that way and it's flooding, I can chuck it just about where I want it at 2 o'clock. Yeah. If it starts ebbing, I can chuck it at 10 to 2. It's just the scope of casting where you want to cast. Yeah. Whereas with a pendulum cast, it's a little bit harder. And also, it's speed, really. And it's easy. You know, I've got to be honest with you. Yeah. You know, people shun fixed balls, but I've got to be honest with you now. Steve Kerr was showing me. I can only think it's a fixed ball record. And I keep telling him. 297 the other day on a field with a fixed ball. A guy cast. Yeah. And I think that's a fixed ball record. So I believe, I'm not exactly sure on this, but it's over 300 for the record. I think it's 306 or... When the multiplier. I don't know if it's Danny Moscops or whoever, but I think it's 307. But Steve keeps saying it's the world record. I said, but that's the world record fixed ball maybe, but not multiplier. Oh. But it's phenomenal, isn't it, that? Yeah.
I mean, my only comment would be is that I can remember fishing back 40, 50 years ago. Multipliers, fixed balls were horrible. We called them mangles because they were like mangles, weren't they?
If you were a betting man, you had money on me using a fixed ball, you'd have won a fortune because it'd have been about 10,000 to 1 that I'd ever use a fixed ball, and I can't believe I am. Yeah, but it just makes life so easy. The braid on it and that, and everything's simple. And the continental rods and the. We used to kind of, tongue in cheek, but people turned up with a fixed ball in the match days, and I used to have a little laugh. Yeah. And then we got this team up in the league final called the Minsmere Gang, and they just smashed everyone to bits with these fixed balls and big baits. Yeah. And it was horrifying how good they were. Yeah. I think I mentioned it the other week, Jacobs and all that, they were just marvellous. And then that's the first time. And then the second time in the Masters at Durham, guy rocks up next to me with a fixed ball. I thought, I'll beat him, you know. You think, oh,
Yeah.
not being rude, but I thought, nah, no chance.
Yeah.
When he started casting, I was just horrified.
Yeah.
I mean, I did beat him on the day,
Yeah.
but he was brilliant.
Yeah.
Past miles.
Yeah.
And that was, what, 30 years ago?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, I can understand where they're coming
Yeah.
from. They're good at it, you know.
Yeah. Right, did you ever sell or own a moonraker rod? This is a question from Ian Parker from last week.
I cast one, but I never used one.
No.
And I wasn't over impressed. Out of all the Daiwa rods, I used an AWB 129, marvellous rod.
Yeah.
Then I designed the 126, which was an amorphous whisker butt with a 12mm tip.
Yeah.
And that was 12'9". That was a lovely rod for fishing.
Yeah.
But I found the Moonraker was, to me, I thought it was one of their worst rods. It's only my opinion.
Right, okay.
You know, I steered away from. The only one I kind of liked was they did a red one.
Right.
And that was a real good price at the time, and I used to stock a lot of them.
Yeah.
But it was always the Team Daiwas or the Amorphous, which was top of the range. And I had two AWT 13Ms when I was good at casting.
Yeah.
What marvellous rods they were. I left them in Gambia.
Yeah.
I sold them to an Irish bloke in Gambia, and I just realised I couldn't bend them anymore properly.
Yeah.
And what a rod that was.
Yeah.
You know, the AWT
right.
Daiwa, top of the range, 450 quid each. They were marvellous in their day, you know. And I think he's still got them to this day. The guy, I flogged them on the beach when I left. Couldn't be bothered to get them on the airplane, and that was the end of them.
Yeah.
But I did like them. The 13 was a classic rod, you know. But, sorry about the Moonraker, but it wasn't my cup of tea, really.
No, okay. Right, Gareth Mankey, are you still doing the deal with the reel and the Achios Fury?
Yeah. We're still doing that for 200.
Right.
You can upgrade to the R10 for a little bit more if you give me a ring.
Yeah. And
there is another reel on a deal on a combo, which is, it looks exciting, but we personally, it's not our favourite reel, the Utopia. No. But we are doing it.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's worth more money.
Yeah.
You need to speak to me, really.
Yeah.
I had a load of them and I had trouble with them, and I don't. I'm not being rude. I love Achios.
Yeah.
And they're lovely and light. But I prefer the ones I know. You know, the R10's bomb-proof, and the Fire Loop there is not. It's good. You know, so it's a pretty good reel. It don't seem to come back, which is important. See, when we sell a reel, we don't want to see it again. We don't want, like, we had a little bit of an issue with some Black Rock ones. Admittedly, we've given them away really cheap. Yeah. But most of them I replaced and changed them over for something.
Yeah, no, quite.
You know, and I had the same with Pen Affinities.
Yeah.
That I had a guy ring me up for an affinity yesterday, and I didn't. I said, look, I can't be rude. The guys all bought them, and they wouldn't last in the pace, you know.
All right, okay.
That's why I think this new one will be different.
Yeah.
Because I think they've really gone to town on this new pen, this Tidal, you know.
What else we got coming up in here? Right, there's a few statements. I mean, guys, I'm only reading out questions. So people that are commenting, what you need to do is you need to, if you're not seeing it, seeing the text so you can see what people are saying. Right, Ian Gurdon, I've lost the ceramic insert on my X5 top eye. What is the answer, please?
Need a new ring.
New ring.
Yeah, some people, I'll be honest, people are saying you can get an insert and you can put it back in and all that. I'll just get a new ring, put a new ring on it. Only cost you,
they're not expensive, are they?
10 quid. Just get a new ring on it, I would.
Yeah.
Putting in inserts, I'm not over the moon with that. I think that it can come out again. It could, you know, just get a new ring put on it, take it into your local shop and get it done properly. And I think it'll cost you no more than 12 quid.
I mean, you know, in an emergency, when I say out on a boat or something and one's gone, I've super glued them back in, but they don't stay in very long.
This is the trouble, isn't it? If you've got the piece, you want to try super gluing it in, fine. Yeah. But I would just get a new ring put on personally, you know.
Yeah.
You should be able to get that off with heat in a proper shop.
Is it a tip ring? Was it a tip ring?
You won't have to cut the blank.
Yeah.
If you just warm it up with a lighter and keep it moving, and you should be able to just pull it off.
Yeah. I mean, most shops will do it for you, to be honest. You know, just go and get the shop to do it for you. I mean, I've seen them where they've overheated them and it's completely destroyed.
Exactly, that's a chance you take, but most shop dealers will know how to do it properly.
Right, Justin, I think his name's down. I can't read my writing. How is Tony doing with the T900 SGT rods I brought in?
They're still in here, but I've got them overpriced.
Right, okay.
I'm going to drop the price. I'm going to drop the price this week.
Yeah.
I did put them overpriced.
Yeah.
Steve likes to put a good price on them.
Yeah.
But I looked at them yesterday and they're still sitting there, and I know we want to move them.
Right.
So what I'm going to do on Monday, I'm going to put them on Facebook and drop it down to a sensible price, which we was going to do anyway, and see if we can move them, because I know you want to get some money as quick as you can, don't you?
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry about that. I did sort of warn you that Steve would price them high, but there's not a mark on them, as you know. So they're still underpriced for what they cost. But I still think that we need to get them down and move them. Yeah.
Right, Anthony Holt asked, have you tried the Zolkron match and what do you think?
Haven't tried one. Some of the lads have got them. I've got one here second hand in the rack there, really cheap, where someone's bought one and he didn't really get on with it. I do believe there's newer models. The one down there is quite thick, quite bulky.
No one down there is thick enough. Yeah.
Personally, but I think there's some new ones that are lighter.
Right.
Don't know really. A couple of boys have got them. They love them, but I don't think, because I've got Ziplex and Century now. I think I'll be more inclined to stock M4 GTs than stock Zilkrons. It's just my personal opinion. Don't think there's anything wrong with them. Just think now it might be a bit of a struggle, because some of these Centuries I've been getting in, even I'm quite enamoured with them. They're they're finished so nicely. I didn't really realise how much the company's moved on, you know. And some of them, you look at them and think, oh, I'd like to try that, you know. Especially that one today, the light one he bought. It's beautiful, you know.
And on that note, someone said, she's Andrew Jones, I use a Century XLR 8R rod. Have you ever used one, and do you rate them?
Never used one.
Right.
Got to be honest with you. And I'm not actually familiar with that one.
Yeah.
That's my own fault, because down here we're spoilt with three-piece long rods.
Yeah.
I can tell you anything you like about three-piece long rods.
Yeah. And
basically about the Ziplex range, because obviously I've done so many over the years. But that one I'm not quite sure. I'd have to look up, see what it's for, and you know. Is it powerful, or?
I don't know. So Andrew James, what is the XLR 8R? Tell us about it.
If he's there, is it a powerful rod, or?
I think we'll find the answer from him a little bit later on, because I'm away there.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
But they are nice rods, and I just think that some of them, because they're not made for up north, but some of the companies that are up north, they tend to make a more stiffer rod, and some of them are a little bit vicious. But again, until you try something that's a bit more forgiving, I don't know. And I'm not sure about models, so I'm not going to lie to you.
Right. As I say, I'm only reading that question, so people that are making statements, you need to come back and look at the text on your screen. You can get it up on your screen, and then you can read through it. Carl Bennett got his name down for the first ever comp on Sunday. Carl Bennett?
Yeah, I've got an envelope ready for you. Don't worry about the match, because the guys will look after you. Whoever's next to you, sort your card out. Once you've drawn, I'll tell them to look after you. You'll be okay. Just fish, and then basically one of us got to do your card. Obviously 1 rod, 3 hooks. You know, the general. You got the gist of it. You know. Bait might be a problem. We're going to get as much bait as we can in for the customers. I do need you to ring, if you haven't got any bait, to ring in and try and order some. I've got rag coming tomorrow as well. Yeah, just do your best. Hopefully, I think it's going to be a nice day. And as I say, we've got plenty of people fishing. Low number will be good Sunday, I believe. But it's not going to be quite so crucial, because you've got a bit of tide there. Tide's getting longer. So you might be all right if you are up the other end a little bit this week. So it's been fishing really even, between 1 and 28. It's not been, I'd always say the low numbers are better within reason, but it's been pretty even the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
People up the other end got in the money.
Yeah.
So.
And I was in the middle, and I got in the money.
Yeah, you did. You done well, didn't you?
Yeah, so even I can catch some fish. Right, John Pierce, have fixed balls come into their own since the introduction of Braid? Is that what the changeover was for fixed balls?
Now I think Braids made all the difference, because it's just well, for one, it's more fun when you go fishing. You see all your bites. I don't want to roll over what I said before, but I never went pleasure fishing ever.
Yeah.
And now, because I've got Braid on now, I'll go over there quite often and chuck out.
Yeah.
The rod goes whacking over.
Yeah.
And it's a 41 centimetre bass.
Yeah.
And you think it's about £10 because the bait's hit it, you know.
Yeah.
So you get a bit more fun out of it as well. Lovely to use. And as I say, it's pretty direct. I've been fishing. I fished with nylon last week because I had a bit of a hiccup with me reel. Well, it was me rod actually. I found out in the end, and I put nylon on, and I've done really well in the matches. And I think that it was brilliant, you know, because I didn't see any bites, and I reeled in. I told you, I treble shot a dogfish, and ended up winning the 2 matches. Right, one of them had 9 in, and the other one had 6 or something. But, you know, it wasn't a big matches by any means. But it's win's a win as far as I'm concerned. Don't around when he's in it. But basically, went straight back down the snake in the over 50s, as you see. And that's fishing, you know. I've always realised this, no matter how good you think you are at fishing, something to go and kick you in the face. And you think you might be great, all of a sudden you get on a roll and you can't lose. And then you can't work out why you can't get a bite and everyone's catching fish around you. Because fishing's a game that, you know, you can be winning everything and all of a sudden that's it. You just can't. You have a bad day. Everyone has a bad day and a few bad days.
You are definitely going to win on Sunday.
Well, mine's the camera. Just don't bring that bloody camera near me.
Mate, you're going to win on Sunday because I ain't here. I can't make it because I'm going to Remembrance Sunday. So
the problem is with it as well, you get a bad peg. And you know, I go down the pub at the weekends, so you get a bad peg.
Yeah.
And I start talking myself out of it.
Yeah.
On Saturday night.
Yeah.
And then by the time Sunday mornings come on, just don't want to be there. Whereas in the old days, I wouldn't go out. I'm ready, I've got all my gear, all set up, all ready for Sunday morning, get up early. But as this old age, can't be bothered now, just want to go out and have a few beers with the lads and do what I can on the Sunday. But it's not easy when you've got hangover and you just don't feel good.
I never have worked it out. As you go out and you're up for it and you'll catch fish, you go out and think, I ain't going to catch any of that, and you don't. It becomes a prophecy, doesn't it?
People think I'm mad if I tell you what I'm going to say, but I think fishing's in the mind.
Oh yeah,
if you've got a mindset and you're positive, for some reason you catch fish. You go down there and you're not positive. It's like the lads have said, and they're right. When I run the matches now, I'm doing all the pairs, I'm doing all the money, I'm doing all this, running about. Everyone's phoning me up, and they said, "You're fishing to go downhill," and I said, "Nah, it won't. Nah, it'll be all right." But it does, because you're trying to look after everybody else. And you forgot about what you're doing, whereas normally I'll go down there like this, focus, bang on the match, that's all I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about the money and where am I going to put it and who's going to dish it out at the end and who's going to do this and who's going to put the pairs up on Facebook, who's with who. And there's a lot of behind the scenes there, especially now, because when we used to go down, as Gerald said, 6 or 7 of us. Now there's 27. So you've got everyone, oh, where's my bait, where's this? So I'm running around doing everything else. By the time the match comes round, I'm off the...
Well, I mean, I've sat next to you at the start of one of those matches and your phone don't bleed and stop.
Yeah, I know. I mean, when I got there that day early, didn't I? It rang 8 times, didn't it? So I got there early. By the time the match started, I didn't even cast out. Because I'd been talking to everyone. Oh, there's a bloke on my peg. There's a bloke doing this. You've got to do it. It's part of it, I suppose.
No, quite.
And I've had my share of winning, so who cares, really? I do want to win. Don't get me wrong. I try my hardest. But I've won a lot of things, been lucky in the past. So, you know, you can't win all the time. It's nice to see other people picking up money, you know.
Guys, we've got 210 people watching now, which is a good turnout. Only 73 of you have given us a thumbs up. So come on, give us a thumbs up. You don't realise, actually, it makes a lot of difference to the channel because it's a sort of analytic that YouTube look at, and we get bumped up by it. So, yeah, please give us a thumbs up.
The other thing I was just going to say, you can't also... It'd be easy for me to step out now, but I can't. It sounds weird, even though you know, I'm not that as keen as I was. If I walked along like you did, I wouldn't be able to focus. I'd be whining it. You know, so it's a little bit like that. There's that catch-22 where I do want to fish.
And that is why I don't tend to fish if I'm going to film the whole match, because I can't do both. One of them will suffer, and it's normally the fishing. Right, Andy Cole, did you design the sea match tackle?
Of course.
It's your logo, isn't it?
Yeah, I designed all of it. Not everything. A guy called the rock release I was talking about earlier on, which there's been loads of subsidiaries of that. A guy called Nick Redgate designed that, who we used to fish with when he used to work in the shop, and he designed that rock release. He was the first one to do it. It was many years ago, and now everyone's spun off on it, and they all do different versions. But generally, I designed all the rods. Some things are obviously copies, because when I done them, there was a board with 32 lots of people, lots of tackle on there, and obviously, you know, a diamond eye swivel is a diamond eye swivel, isn't it? So basically, you design, you innovate some of it, but some of it, like everything, all gets copied. You know, which you can't help. You know, I mean, if I was doing C-Match now, there'd be some kind of impact. Not an impact shield. Cascade in there. You know what I mean? Because cascades are popular. You've got to have them. So I designed some kind of cascade if I was doing it all again.
I mean, we're using those Arno cascades now, and they're really good, aren't they? Stainless steel.
Yeah. We put C-Match. It was in Decathlon at one point. It went into thousands of shops. Right. Because it was run by Leader. We put it into all the big companies, David Kiddie, Decathlon, and then once that run its course, I stopped the business. Of course, we got so much packaging, we got loads of it. But I don't put it into shops anymore. There just wasn't the profit there, you know. But if I started it from scratch, you could. If you'd have to get everything China, you'd have to buy masses, you know. But we're happy to do little things. We've got this one here, look.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask about these little tails.
This is, we just designed this last week. There's no big myth to it, but it's just if you're fishing a match. I'm going to tell you, some people say it's too small. In the day, you've got a big towel. This is just goes around here. Just clip it on there like that, and then what you find is you've just got it there. If it's raining or something, just wipe your hands. If you want to use it as a full-blown towel, you can. But and they're only about £7, and we can put your name on them if you want. Or you can have them just normal. But we sold a few this week. I put them on the website. And they've sold. But we're always looking for things to design. I mean, you've probably seen have you seen the salt holdall? This is the houndall. It's got all the measurements here. So in the summer, if you catch a smooth hound, from the bottom to there, you're not going to be dead accurate. But you're not far out, and you know that if it's sort of like, I don't know, 100 centimetres, it's going to be about £8 or £9 or whatever. So you work it out on the chart, and they're good. And I think you can actually use it in a match, because you could actually bring your holdall back and check it with a rule. If you knew it went from there and you photographed it to, say 100, you can come back and lay that out and check it exactly. But when you get 100 centimetre smooth hound, you're not going to quibble over 5 points unless everyone's got them.
No, quite.
You're going to win the match anyway, you know what I mean? So, but they're quite nice. And there's loads of things we've designed, you know, over the years from C-Match, and they seem to be pretty popular, you know?
There's a question that comes straight away after that. Are you going to make any more rods?
Dreamcast 4.
The Mac 4's coming out, isn't
it? I don't know. I was going to just mention this, if you can hang on a second.
All right. Making me dizzy going backwards and forwards.
Sorry, but it's all right. I just want to show you, because we sold hundreds of these.
Right.
And I don't know, you never know, do you? Look, whether Century will make this again.
The Ziplex C-Match Dreamcast
2.
Ooh.
That was a Ziplex. These two are second hand. I designed this with Terry Carroll years ago. But who knows, they're only doing 4 or 5 rods at the moment. But I've been talking to him, but I never actually asked him if he might bring back the Dreamcast.
Right.
Because this was a good fishing rod. It was made in 2 halves.
So it's
14 foot.
So it's a bit like an Envol GT. Isn't it?
Very similar.
How stiff it is? And we just how stiff it is in the butt.
It's a nice rod.
Powerful.
I saw this was unique. This was just ours. We sold hundreds of them, you know. And that was based on something. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I know exactly what I've done it. It was a certain tip.
Right.
And then we used a different bar. And it's a real sort of winner, you know. But I like designing rods. If you look at my book, I've designed about I must have designed about 14 rods now.
Right.
And I'm pretty proud of them, because every one has passed well, you and me. Because that's the important bit.
Yeah.
If they're too brutal, they quickly get forgotten. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, quite. Right. So again, my handwriting. Millwood 808. What's your favourite hook size for match fishing in winter?
Twos. B940 Camasands.
Yeah.
Or I've been using my C-Match specials there. But in the winter, the B940's just got a bit more power to them. And they're really nice, you know.
Yeah.
But again, it depends where you're fishing.
Yeah.
We was talking about the other day. I'm fortunate enough to fish all over, you know, a lot of the country and all over. And it was quite weird because we were talking about, because down here we're fishing with lugworm.
Yeah.
Everything eats lugworm.
Yeah.
I love fishing with crab.
Yeah.
You know, and I've been all over places, estuary fishing and all that in matches. I love it, but I don't travel anymore.
Yeah.
But down here, all you need is 3 hooks with lugworm.
Yeah. Lugworm.
Apart from when the smooth hounds come in the summer, and even a lot of them were starting to eat lug.
They were taking worms, weren't they, this year?
It's crazy, and prawns.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Prawns, the secret bait.
But it's size 2s, I would say, generally for match fishing.
Right. Okay. Right. Carl Bennett, how do the open matches work? Me and a mate are booked down for our first this weekend. We've already spoken to your mate, I think.
Yeah, I spoke to Carl already. I think what it is you come and draw your peg Saturday,
or you do it over the phone if you can't get in.
If you can't get in, you got to pay me. One of the big musts is if all of a sudden you're not coming, I need to know tomorrow morning first thing, because it messes the match up for other people with the money and everything. So you come and draw Saturday, get your pegs, I'll tell you where you're fishing, get your bait, and then it starts at 8 o'clock, so you need to be on that beach about 7:30, and that's about it really. And just make sure you've got an umbrella. I think it's going to rain. No, I think it's going to be all right now. There was going to be quite a lot of rain about Sunday, but no, it should be all right. You'll enjoy it, and hopefully you come back again. A lot of people who've done a few late, they've come back again, and that's the important bit. They've enjoyed their day out, even if they haven't caught much, you know.
Yeah, I'm really torn Sunday.
I really like the idea of catch and release, because you know, I fished the other day, and when I won that one on Sunday, and I got a 41.5 centimetre bass, and it's that much too small, and I'm fuming. And I thought, that's going to cost me. It didn't cost me,
because that'd be 70 points or something.
I didn't need it, luckily, but I thought that's going to cost me the match, that. Because a guy had one of 45, I think, or 43, and if you catch a bass like that on Sunday, you're going to get 25 points or 20 points.
But I mean,
on
a non-catch and release day, if it's just under 42 centimetres, that's cost you nearly 70 points. If you've got to put it back.
70 points on £2 a fish. You know, nearly £2 a fish. And the great thing about this catch and release, even if you're having a bad day, you'll probably get a few. I had the worst day in the world last Sunday. I still got 48 points or something. And I couldn't have had a worse day. So at least I got something. And you think, well, I'm blanked, you know.
Now this is I'm going to be really controversial now. I am still banging on about people putting fish in a bucket, and Tony, you are one of the worst culprits.
Well, because I got a bit of stick last week from a certain person.
Well, I know that it was. I know it was.
I took a bucket Sunday and I did my best and put it in the bucket. So I am doing the best. I kind of. You're exactly right. What happens? But I think if you've got that fish and you've got a guy next, if you're on the other side of that groin, right, and he measures that, and you take it off the hook and you go and put it back, I can't see any difference between putting it in a bucket and wasting time.
Well, it should,
you know, I know it's wrong. Don't get me wrong. But if you're quick, and the certain person that pulled me up, well, I'm not going to say anymore. He didn't do no better. So, you know, at the end of the day, call the kettle black then, if you want.
I mean, the problem we got is
because
I'm putting the videos out there and the whole world's seeing them, and I just think that we should be.
Is it better to take them away and kill them?
Well, no, of course it's not.
Well, they don't die.
No.
Well, let's be honest, quite a few of them die. But I'm sure if you just unhook it and you just go straight to the sea, although rules are rules, and you're right, and I'm not going to get into controversial, and I've got a bucket now. I've always had a bucket, but what it is, I carry a bucket and I've got more and more stuff in it, but now I've got the white one inside now, so you know I haven't always had the white one inside. So
right, okay. Well, anyway, that's me just being controversial.
No, I think you're right, because we've got to. The way forward is putting these fish back. And we've really got that going.
Yeah.
So now maybe the next step you've got
a little bit more fish care.
And maybe we'll make it a rule. You know. So.
Well, I think it probably is a rule.
Yeah, but we'll make it a solid rule, maybe, you know, that you're disqualified. If not, maybe something like that. Right,
Ian Gurdon says he will drop in for a top buy. You know, this is the guy that tip ring's missing.
Yeah, no problem.
CJ, can you ask Tony his opinion on an Achios Air Talk paired with the new Penn Tidal XT reel in a 7000?
Well, that'd be brilliant, but I've only got one left of the. Right, okay. Sorry. The Air Talks are nearly £400.
Yeah.
I've got one in here for £280.
Right.
Okay. The only difference is it's white instead of black.
Right.
And I could do you a really good deal because it'd come down further if you had the reel. It'd be perfect setup. But they're in the rack there. And we've sold so many. What he'd done, he gave us all the white ones.
Yeah.
Like we had with the white reels,
all
white R10s, and we knocked them out.
Yeah.
But we finally did two for a guy called Chris Easy.
Yeah.
And he had two, and I rung Simon, and he's got none left, and I've got. Well, he's got one up there, and I've got one here, so we've got two left.
Yeah.
So if you want a good deal, I can do you a deal on them, or you can have the new one. I'll still do you a good deal.
Yeah.
But I think that new reel's the thing. You try and get, if you can. Get a deposit on that new reel because I'll tell you what, I sold two more today, took deposits, and just get it because the second lot are going to be in February, I reckon.
Oh right.
And the other ones which you're going to see flying around for 170s, that's not the real.
No,
there's an XT and there's a normal one. I don't know why they're doing the normal one. It's got less ball bearings, no spare spool. It's a waste of time, but they've got them in stock. And I suppose even me, I'll probably get a few in because I haven't got nothing else to sell. But we got about 18 or 20 coming, and I think now it's up to about 8 I've sold, 8 or 9.
Is that the Penn Tidal reel?
They're in on the 22nd, the Tidal, 22nd of this month.
So there you go.
A bit of a deal on it. So perhaps if you give me a ring in the morning, or give us a ring, and I'll either give you a deal on the white one or the new Air Talk, which is really nice. But there's no difference, just change the colour.
Yeah.
So.
Alex Smart asked a question a while ago, and I'm not giving it, but are you getting Century clothing?
Yes, and I'm waiting for them. I quizzed them about a Century Ziplex top.
Yeah,
us doing a hoodie, and we can't. And the reason is because they're going to be doing a hoodie, I think.
Yeah.
He was telling me they got that in their plans.
Yeah.
And we can do any of the clothing, and I will start getting some in definitely because I think it's good. I need to have a map round, see what's the best, and get in what I can. Yeah. But I've got all the list, and I can get it all, Alex. No problem.
All right.
And I think they're going to bring out something to do with this Ziplex later, maybe. A bit. I can't see a knot. Can you?
No.
Probably a hoodie or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a pity we can't put it on our hoodies, really, isn't it? But,
yeah, they wouldn't let us do that. I can understand that. It's fair enough. You know.
We are going to. I mean, we have got the Tony's Tackle C-Match channel hoodies. We are going to do something slightly different with those as well. So if you don't like all the big writing on the back, we'll have it as a small thing on the front, and we'll have some.
Yeah, totally going to redesign now. I've got ideas and get it redesigned. I'm not very happy with them. To be honest with you. But,
oh, they're good. I mean, I love
them.
All
right.
Sorry. Yeah, Alex.
He comes from over near you, doesn't
he? He does. Yeah. Right. Bournemouth. I use both Ziplex and Century, very nice rods, but all rods catch fish. Yeah, well. Right, please, can you ask Tony why the majority of multipliers are right-hand wind? Okay, MJ. I think we had this come up last week as well. Why are the majority of multipliers right-hand wind? You can get left-hand wind multipliers. I think Achios do a left-hand wind one, don't they?
You get left-hand multipliers, but the amount I sell is just nothing.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it.
There's quite a lot of tooling involved in making a left and a right hand, whereas a fixed ball,
that's what I mean. You can buy them, and I can get them, but they're always more money.
Yeah.
I find it strange because I'm left-handed, okay, a multiplier is so natural to me.
Yeah.
Right, and yet guys down the river, they'll reel this side.
Yeah.
And then they'll come to a multiplier and they'll reel the other way.
Yeah.
And I think, Christ, you know, but it's natural to me. I'm
Yeah.
lucky.
Yeah.
But I just think it's just one of them things where there isn't so many people who use left hand. I don't know.
I mean, I couldn't tell you which side the handles are on either. I just pick the rod up and get on with it. I just, as you say, it just feels natural.
I can't really. Yeah. Fortunately, when we've done a lot of carping, I make me run away from the rod all the time.
Yeah.
And I had to get these carping.
Yeah.
And I'm so natural this way, right? Yeah. And yet I had to reel that way.
Yeah.
Of course, he's gone off chatting, and I've got this big carp on. And do you know what? By the end of the weekend,
just feels
natural. It was after about 2 lots of fishing, him walking away and me getting the fishing. I found that really natural. Your brain must react to it. Yeah. So I wonder whether if rather than going by a left-hand reel,
just get used to it.
Get the normal and just keep practicing. I reckon in the end your brain sinks in and goes, "This is okay," because it definitely worked for me. I never could have reeled that way. Yeah, never. No. And then I went in so many carp matches with Mick, and in the end I got so used to it. I could have easily changed mine over and done that myself. Simple, you know. Yeah. Or get a fixed spool ambidextrous.
Well, most fixed spools are made so you can swap them either way, can't you? So because it's an easy thing to do on a fixed spool because it's this thing goes through the reel, doesn't it? Whereas a multiplier, it's a whole different. Everything's different. Spool's going to go different ways and everything. Yeah. Right. Right, and someone kept Mark Follett. What are your thoughts on the Tronix Pro CX1? Is it any good?
Not my cup of tea.
Right, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. Keith 2599 Carbon Abu Ambassador Zoom 3130. Do you have any? It's an old rod. You might get them in at all or not?
I've got a 484 down there.
Right.
I'm just thinking. Zoom. No. I've got an Abu 484, which is a beach caster, which is really old down there, and I've got a Pacific boat rod, which is quite popular of Abu. I get quite a bit of stuff that people look for. Yeah. You know, it's amazing. And
it's just
the
a
guy
case
last week said up in Scotland, he said 2 coniflexes. Yeah. And he loved them, and I thought, well, I'm not sure if they're going to be okay for him, and we put them in a tube and off they went, and he's asked me about others now. You know, a lot of people collect coniflexes because they disappeared, you know. But
right, Dave Durrant, hi Dave again. What is the light Century you sold today?
It's called an X-Light Graphex Ultralight Match, and it is a cracking rod, I'll tell you what. It was about 500 and something, you know, 520. That was discounted because it, you know, they give you a price, rock bottom price, and that was at the rock bottom price. Right. And it's all totally built. Yeah. What I found good about it, it was very, very light. Right. And although it's expensive, it was a nice rod. I wouldn't have minded having a go with it, you know.
No, quite.
Probably a little bit too light for me. Yeah. But it was all there, you know, and a nice tip on it. Yeah. The one at the moment, I don't know if you want me to go and just get it quickly.
Go on in, yeah.
And the one that's selling, and
you're going to bring it up here?
Yeah, I'll bring it up. This is the one, the guy from, this is Peters from Leamington.
Right.
And this, they kind of broke through a little bit with this one.
Oh, Peter, who was at the
at the over 50s. He's coming up Wednesday to get it. Right. It's a Century Fireblade.
Ooh, GT.
GT. It cut a few corners, you know. Made it a bit cheap. You can see it's slightly cheaper. You can see the way it's made. But this has got a lovely tip on it. I've had Peter Ayres in here looking at it, and he loves it. He seems to want to, he might buy one. It's 14 foot long. You need the GT model. I believe the GT model
glass tip
is a glass tip, and that seems to be more popular. They're about 6 weeks wait, but we've got some coming through. Right. And this ain't going to break the bank. No. I believe this has got high price on it.
I love this livery on it.
325. Yeah. I think they're a little bit. Ain't far off. I think that might be right. It might go a bit cheap.
That's what you want on your Mac 4. This carbon weave.
Yeah, that's going to be on the Mac
Yeah,
4, definitely.
yeah,
This is going to be on the certain parts of it. Yeah, we're not doing it like it's in on my rod. But that's a nice bit of kit, that is. And I was fortunate enough to get that because they just had a batch coming through, and I've grabbed one of them for this Peter. We thought he was going to have to wait 5 weeks.
Yeah.
But they're very nice. But that one that Ian bought today, it really is nice. Unfortunately, he's took it.
Yeah.
But it's a cracking bit of kit, you know. So they're good. And that's quite forgiving as well. You know, like I was saying about some rods, a few of them, they're too powerful for people.
Yeah.
I was quite pleased that Ian picked out that one, that he got, the one he bought. Yeah. Because he's thought about it rather than just dive in and go, oh, I want this. Yeah. And it's too powerful, you know?
No, quite.
So, although there's a Sport over there, Graphic Sport, in that bag over there. That's for someone else, that's for Mark. Because he's bought one of them. So, no, it's good. But I'm feeling my way around these because the old Centuries I used to sell, they were nothing like this, you know? Yeah. So I'm actually feeling my way around the range, but that's why I didn't know what that one was earlier on. Yeah. Because I'm slowly getting around what's what, because down here we don't stock them. So I haven't seen all of them, if you know what I mean. But I've got a great idea now what's going to sell down this area, you know.
Alan Castaway says, I still have the Ziplex 50/50 Dreamcast from you, still mint condition.
I've got 2.
Have you?
Going out the door.
Oh, right.
Cheap price. Did you see them? I put them in there earlier on.
Yeah.
Show you. There's a pair down there. Yeah. And they're really nice. And that's a guy he's just going to change over to the dark side.
Right. Ian asks, which braid brand do you recommend for shore fishing?
I recommend Fireline, 8 strand, and X5. It's all made by Barclay.
Yeah.
I'm going to try this. Gerald's ranting on about this.
What, flex? Yeah.
Because it's so thin. It's a cheaper braid.
Yeah.
It's only around 22 quid or 20 quid odd.
Yeah.
But it's cheaper.
Yeah.
And it's very thin.
Right.
But I don't trust it. But he said it casts further, Gerald. He'd say that anyway because he's casting mad. Yeah. But it's again, it's Barclay, so you know it's good stuff. Yeah. I'll tell you the other good one that I've been selling a lot of, and no one's had any bother with this. This is Achios again, and that's an 8 strand. Any 8 strands can be good.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you're really particular, by all accounts, my mate Aaron, this is the absolute nuts. But it's £100 a spool, and I don't know where you get it or no. He left me He said if you use it, you'll never use any different. But I don't know where you get it. He said he buys it down near Paul somewhere. The bloke gets it for him. Yeah. And it's called Born Rush.
Right. I mean,
I don't know how much it is. He said it's really expensive, but it's supposed to be really nice. But I believe most of this 8 strand stuff is really good, you know. So
I mean, that's a Japanese line, that board. But
well, if this is Japanese is good, as we said the other week.
Really got some good stuff now.
But the same old thing, isn't it? A lot of these lines, they'll come out the same place. Yeah, a lot of them together.
That same factory.
You know, I wouldn't mind betting that it's got all this. You've got X5, you've got spider wire. It's all pure fishing. Yeah, it's all got to come from the same place. Yeah. So it's just one massive factory, and they just brand it. I think, you know what I mean? Yeah. But it's nice to try different ones. I don't really recommend you buying cheap braid. No. Because I've had some cheap braid in here and it's been disastrous. And even the charter boats bought it and it was awful. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't recommend a cheap braid. I lost as big as conger reel I've ever seen on cheap braid. Never use cheap braid ever again. No, I don't think it's worth it. Yeah. So right, here we go. £50 4 strand is a good option. Right, I'm just going through here. Even though, right. David Checkfield, hi Tony and Chris. Are we drawing Saturday in shop for Sunday, please? Well, yes, they will be. Yeah. And if you don't want to come over, David, we can do it when there's a few people in here. Yeah, someone will draw for you. It'd be good if you can come over because that's part of it, isn't it? Yeah. You know. So we'll sort it out for you. Nice to see you. Are you turning up this week?
Yeah.
No, brilliant, mate. I know what happened last week. Just one of them things.
Right. Landlocked sea fishing. Is the Sonic X5 similar, same as the old blue Sonic HT? Yeah. So the X5 that we're
Yeah,
all aiming
I
at.
designed the HT.
Yeah.
Well, in conjunction with them, and the
Yeah.
HT. A lot of people say it's better.
Yeah.
It's a much better made rod.
Mm.
It is much better quality,
Mm.
but this is a little bit stiffer.
Mm.
It works for a lot of people, and people like it.
Mm.
And unfortunately, you can't get the blue one anymore. I think what they've done, they moved on to a different factory, and they copied the blue one, and it came out a little bit stiffer, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
And it seems to work for people. But quality-wise, that's some rod, that HT. If you've got that, look after
What,
it.
the blue one?
The blue one, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a couple on the beach. They are nice, aren't they?
Unfortunately, my stepson snapped my blue one, so that's the end of that, I'm afraid. So I've got HT now.
Right.
But no, they're very good rods.
Yeah.
But they're made by a certain factory, the blue ones.
Yeah.
And you could tell even by buying it, it's got the lovely case comes with it. They ain't spared no money there. They've done it right. And then this time they come in a bag, bit bland, you know, and it's
I mean,
almost,
the bag that they come in is crap.
you can almost tell that it comes out of a cheaper factory.
I mean, I have to say
But
that's the one thing.
it worked out right for them. I wouldn't touch that for a year and a half.
Yeah.
So I thought, I know what's going to happen to that. And then I thought, well, I've got no choice now, and I've had it since, you know.
For what you're paying for that rod, you'd have thought they'd have put a good bag on it, because the bag is flimsy as hell, and it's not good at all.
I think that's bad.
Yeah.
Our Dreamcast will have a lovely bag with them and everything when they come out.
And that makes a lot of difference. It makes a rod last longer, because it's not getting. I mean, mine gets bashed and battered around the back of my car.
Well, this is what I like about them. If you look at them Centuries, they finish them off with them beautiful bags and that.
Yeah.
They're lovely, you know. It just they're all. I mean, sell the bags for sort of 25.
Yeah.
They're all nice and.
Yeah,
you know,
that's a good bag, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm not a bag as a match angler. I just want to get my rod out and done. I've got that bag from my similar to this. I've got my bag from my HT, but it's obviously a lot better than that.
Yeah.
And my rod goes in there, bang, no bag.
Gone. Yeah.
I don't want a bag.
Yeah.
But personally, you know, I think that it goes in like that. Look, that's how I put my rod in. That's my rod.
Yeah.
It just goes in there like that, and that's it.
Well, it takes me about.
But, you know, someone who goes fishing and takes care of their gear, to come in a lovely bag like that is what you want, isn't it?
I mean, the silly little flimsy cloth bag that they come in, it takes me about 5 or 6 minutes to put the bloody thing into it.
That's
right.
It's so floppy and flimsy.
You've got to thread it in.
Time to get it out, and match is over.
Yeah.
I'll be done in because I'll get there at 5 to 8.
Yeah.
So
Well,
someone got it out the bag, it'd be halfway through the first cast.
It's the other way for me. It's getting to the weigh-in. It's rushing around trying to get everything put away, and
I'll
you're
be
trying
signing in a fish before I chucked out if I took a rod bag.
Yeah.
But you know, everyone to their own, and I believe that if you go pleasure fishing, you look after your gear, and you should put it in a nice bag. I think that's good. You know?
Right, CW era. Can you? What is your opinion on the Achios Air Talk?
Think I've answered this question.
Yeah.
The Air Talk's a lovely rod. It casts well. It'll handle a big fish. Steve, my manager, uses one.
Yeah.
I've got 2 left.
Yeah.
Of the white ones, which are around about 269 each, and the black one, I'm afraid, is around 400. We can do a deal, but we won't get down to that price. Nice rod. Easy to cast. I think a lot of people have bought air powers and they're a little bit powerful for them. I had Mark, the carpet, Mark who was on earlier, Mark Edwards, and I kept begging him not to buy this Air Talk. It's crazy. You think I want him to buy it, wouldn't you? At 400
Air Talk with air power. Yeah.
Begging him not to buy it. Don't buy it, Mark.
Yeah.
I slipped out of here. He bought it, over 400 quid.
Yeah.
And then I see him 2 weeks later, and he's putting it in the rack.
Yeah.
I said, "What are you doing with that?" And he went, "Well, I couldn't. You told me not to buy it." So I am honest sometimes. I said, told him not to buy it. Anyway, he chopped it in, and he got something else, you know. Well, I think he actually bought a blue HT because I had 2 brand new ones.
Oh, did you?
And he chopped it in, and he was happy. But I didn't tell him.
Yeah.
And he admitted to it. And I kept saying, "It's too powerful for you."
Yeah.
So many people just buy powerful rods.
Because I mean, the Air Talk is quite a different machine. I've cast the Air Talk, and it's a lovely rod to cast.
Yeah, it's just a nice rod, isn't it? I took one over to the Open Day.
Yeah,
Didn't
I was playing one at the Open
Never
Day.
cast one before, and it was lovely, you know.
Yeah.
But and they've got weights. A lot of people don't realise they've got the weights in the bottom.
Yeah.
So basically,
take them out.
You know, because you're getting a wrong impression when you pick it up in a shop.
Yeah.
Don't forget them weights in the bottom weigh a ton. So take it out, take them out, and fill it to balance it. You know. But no, nice rods, and most of Simon's rods are really nice, and they don't seem to break, which is another thing. You do get quite a few rods around that break, and it gets you down in the end because you have to keep replacing bits and messing about, you know.
Yeah. So. Right, John Pierce. Yeah, okay. I'm not. Good to see Tony got trousers on. Was the BTB designed by you?
Yeah.
That's Stu the Brew.
Yeah, it was when I was big with Daiwa. I was one of their biggest accounts a few years ago, and when I was massive with them, decided to do our own rod.
Yeah.
And there's a strange thing in that I designed. It was an amorphous whisker butt coupled with a 12mm tip. Now the 12mm tip is the best tip they've ever made, as far as I'm concerned, for match fishing. But if I think I went through this last week, if you get a real stiff butt with a soft tip or a medium tip, the rod's a winner. And that butt, because it was strong and stiff, that BTB casts a long way with no effort. The only thing that was a mistake, it's called a BTB 126mm, and it's 12'9", because I designed it. It's 12'9", and what they've done is they made the stickers before the rod, and of course it come in with 126, specially made for Tony's tackle, which we designed, and unfortunately we had to live with it. But it's about 12'8", 12'9".
Okay.
And they did the stickers before they jumped the gun, you and me, before they put it together.
Yeah.
But that was a really good rod in its time. I'm not being big-headed, but a lot of people like that rod. I've got to get one tomorrow for a kiddie. Dave Hart, I think his name's Dave Hart. He bought one. He got hold of one this week. He wanted one off me. And I think I've got Paul Parsons bringing him one in tomorrow, hoping he's got to look in his loft because his father, somebody's father.
Yeah. This is a BTB, is it?
Yeah. I think a kiddie down in Devon's going to buy it. He's going to bring me tomorrow. That's Saturday morning.
Yeah.
But they were well made. They're all made by Chris Dancem.
Oh, okay.
I think they were. And they're all nicely finished. And we sold loads of them, you know. And they were our rod, which is nice. Yeah. It's nice when you've got your own rod, you know, and you kind of got a lot of pride then because no one else can copy it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So. Right, I mean, Brandon Loring asked, I'm still using my Grandad's 12-foot beach rods. Have they had their day? Should I be looking at getting a 14 or 15-foot? What would you recommend as an introduction to this rod size?
100% you need a new rod. You can't see the difference between what you're using and what you would get. And you can come in here and buy one for about 80 quid second hand. You can get a really good one for 120. We split in the deal at the moment. When we're doing the deal for 200 with the fire loop and the 420, we're splitting the deal and doing the rod cheap and the reel cheap. So therefore you can come in here and probably buy that rod that's 169 quid for about 125, 130. As long as we get our 200, we're all right. So you can split it, or I can do your second hand one. I've got loads of them. People are forever coming in here chopping them in and buying a different one, a better one. So you'll find I've got plenty of second-hand ones. And you'd probably... And we send as well. So if you're not local, I can always bung one in the post.
And you'd probably do a deal for them trading in his Grandad's 12-foot.
Yeah, we do something. We sell loads of them, but you probably don't realise what you're missing out on.
Yeah,
you know,
makes a lot of difference, doesn't it?
A huge amount of difference. They're so easy to cast, the long rods.
Yeah,
you know? Huge difference. Yeah. Cheers.
Got tangled seaweed, was bad for braid, a very good fighting fish, would tangle up and only last about 8 months. I'm not quite sure what he's saying there. Sorry, Hatchie. Oh, it might be in response to something that was said earlier on. But he's saying braid would tangle up and only last about 8 months. Well, you shouldn't be leaving your monofill all the braid on your reel for too long because it does deteriorate.
Yeah, you can't expect it to last forever. I think I've had mine on well past its sell-by date, and I think it gets tarnished after a while. You probably don't even realise.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Brian Pascal, Brian, do you think catch and release with all fish over say 18 centimetres counting with the total length wins? I.e., you're not doing points, you're just doing total lengths of fish.
People do lengths.
Yeah.
I haven't delved into it.
Mm.
Most of the sizing's worked out to what the fish weighs.
Yeah.
I think it's a good way.
Yeah.
It probably would work out similar with lengths, but it's very awkward with eels and stuff, isn't it? Unless it's all worked out on the chart. But what we all do, we stick by the Bible, you know, the SAMF measurements normally, and get on with it really.
It's variations
on it's a good idea.
You can,
there is some clubs and that, and they do it by length, which is it's probably similar. It probably works out much the same, I think, if it's all worked out.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I'm one that moan about the bucket. Yeah, okay, mate. I'm there.
I'm on it.
Yeah. When will the Ziplex M4 GTs be in stock?
Next week, I think. I've got 2, 3 on order, I think, and I think they're coming next week. They're finishing them off. There is some in shops because they did make a few. Yeah. But I think we're imminent next week. Yeah. I think that I was talking to them the other day, and they said they're going to come in a week, and I'll have them in stock, so you can come and have a look. And I'm not going to build them up. I can if you want to. Yeah. And I could probably get a blank quicker. Yeah. But I think they're so well made from Century now. I don't think you need to. And as I said last week, I don't want to repeat myself, but the price of the rings, time you bought the price of the rings, what they'll cost you, because they're buying thousands, and then you give it to a rod builder, you're going to be over the top of the price, the built price, really. Yeah.
CW Era, who was talking about rods just now, he says, let you know that he'd love to give you the business, but he's in Ireland, and he was on to him about rods and tackle before, but unfortunately the shipping kills the deal.
Only in Southern. Yeah. Yeah, Southern Ireland, no chance.
Yeah.
If it's Northern Ireland, you're okay.
Yeah.
It comes under, normal post.
UK, isn't it? Yes, right.
There is a possibility though, saying that, because a big friend of Simon's goes to Ireland. He comes over very, very often. So maybe don't write it off. Perhaps give me a ring, because he's always over here. Yeah. With Simon at Akios. Yeah. And then he goes back. Yeah. And he's got a big shop in Ireland. He'd probably do it for me if I had a problem. Right. Yeah. But yeah, the shipping would kill it. Otherwise, I'm afraid it'd be 50 quid. So.
Right, Mark Edwards, what do you think of the fire blade you have in the shop?
Yeah, I'm impressed with it, to be honest with you. Right. I think for the money, it's a cracking bit of kit.
I'd love to have a play with that. I must admit, I'd love when you get a few. We're going to do a video on that.
I've ordered another couple. Yeah. And they're imminent. They're going to be next week, I think. But I think they're very nice. 14 foot as well. I wouldn't chuck in that Sunday if I had no choice. Seems to have got a lovely tip on it. But yeah, well impressed with it, Mark, to be honest with
you. Right, yeah.
Right. Don't forget your fishing Sunday. And you must tell me if you want bait. Yeah. Well, no, he does. Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah. CW Era. Anyone here use a South African dongle rigs with circle hooks, hairs for shore fishing? Right. Well, I know a certain shop manager who does. Steve. He uses dongles.
Joe Plumstead does.
Yeah.
And they're very effective. They're good.
And I did speak to Cox and Rawl, and they did send me some small circle hooks because I want to have a go doing tiny dongles for when the whiting are going mad. But we haven't had a session yet where the whiting are going crazy, where I can do a proper comparison between that and just putting the thing straight on the worms. When the whiting go mad, I will be doing some comparisons of little dongles, because I think when you're fishing for whiting, to mouth hook them, it's far better than have to disgorge them all the time.
Yeah. But definitely. Yeah. I mean, I've fished South Africa, big fish rig. Yeah. Brilliant, and they're dynamite. Yeah. For big fish, Yeah. So I do agree on all that. I'm just become Mr. Lazy Angler as I get older. Yeah. But they're the way forward. So.
Steve was saying we can't call them dongle rigs anymore because everyone's talking about it. But I don't know what that was about. I meant to ask him what he meant.
Why not?
Don't know. I have to ask him.
Suppose-
Right. Carl Bennett. Any recommendations for a set of rods around 150 each, looking for 14 foot, something that can handle rays and decent dogs, but also sensitive enough for smaller species? Well, there's a load of rods that fulfill that, isn't there? For about 150, 150.
Probably if you get a Fury,
Yeah.
With a power tip,
Yeah.
that'll cover everything.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
they don't break.
No.
And of course we're discounting them because we're doing the rod and reel deal. So you could give me a ring, but I'll find what you want. If he phones me and he goes through it with me, I'm never always right. No one could be always right, but I've been here 50 years and I've got a good idea of what's to do with what. You know what I mean? But you might want it a little bit stronger for the race.
Yeah.
But also you might want it. You don't want to pole.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
So depending on money and how much expense he wants to lay out, I'll go through it with him, and I'm sure I'll find you the right rod. The other big thing in here, which I can't emphasise enough, is if I tell you the wrong rod, as long as you can get back to here, we can start again. Yeah. So most shops, you buy the rod, you're finished. That's it. Sorry, mate, you bought it. You buy them off me. You either make one trip. I'll send you the rod, so you make one trip to it, come back with them, or you get them back, and we'll change them. So as long as you spend the money, you can even spend the money and say, oh, I want 2 reels. You know what I mean? So basically. Right.
This is from him. I think this is Matt. Tell Tone the bait tail has gone to the Isle of Lewis first class. If you'd be so kind.
Oh yeah, thanks, Max. I sent that to a customer online.
Yeah.
And
he'll drop down Saturday, and the missus is working on yours today.
Saturday,
was that to me, Matt? Is she working on mine today, or is she working on Tone's?
Because I'd like coming today. I'll just show you. I don't want to be touting for business, but they won't be here long. These came in today. If anyone's interested, untouched, and they'll be going out. I don't think they'll be here long. But I must admit, I showed the rocket last week. The guy phoned me up, but no one wants a bargain. They're good.
7HTs. Ooh.
They're the blue 7HT mags.
Don't need any more
they're
wheels.
About 300 quid new.
Yeah.
And I reckon they got 170 on them, but it's a bit overpriced. If someone wanted to buy the pair, I can do a deal. Right. So I just want to. The only reason I want to sell them is because the guy who's brought them in. Okay. He's going fixed ball, and obviously the quicker I sell them, he can have his HTs and his tidals, you and me.
Yeah.
So he's got the dream cast as well. So basically, I want to get rid of them as quick as possible for him. So.
Right. What's the best rod, past or present? That's from Daniel.
Best rod ever.
Well, no. What's
M4
the best?
GT,
M4 GT. Yeah. They're bloody good, aren't they?
I suppose all round.
Yeah.
Got to be one of the most popular.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or.
I have. Right. I'm not going to. This is not a site for you. Sell your gear on here. Sorry, guys. If you like the graphics, you'll love the graphics. Super match. I'd low diamond. Perfect rod for the South Coast. Right. David Checksfield will definitely be there Sunday. Is Liam coming as well?
He's fishing now, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, is he?
Yeah.
What's the chance of seeing a good cod before Christmas? Well, about the same chance as you getting trampled by a unicorn, I think.
There was a couple caught on the long tides.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There will be some caught.
Yeah.
But on the big tides.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of bass down there at the moment. That guy who had 16 bass, Rob. I mean, he's not like, he's not like Alan Yates or anything.
Yeah.
He's just a normal angler. He's quite a good angler, Rob. But to catch that many, he's going some,
Right. What's your view on the Sonic Vader XS13?
Good cheap rod. Perfect to start off with. Could probably say something a little bit better because we get some good second hand if you're not too far away for around about the same price.
Yeah.
But they're okay for the money. Can't beat them.
Right. Stu the Brew Morgan says, Chris, did you ask Tony if he wants that Pro-Am match back? It's 30 years old now. If it's as good as it was the day you bought it, you'll have it.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Too much for me now.
Right.
4 years ago, I cast a 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I cast a pro-am match on the beach.
Yeah.
On the sand with Joe Plumpsey, full pendulum.
Yeah.
And it went a good way.
Yeah.
And they filmed me doing it. Anyway,
Yeah.
put it up on Facebook.
Yeah.
And Danny Moscop's the #1 caster in the country. Me and Joe always talk about this. I don't know how. I just don't know how. And he picked it up on Facebook.
Yeah.
And he's not a friend of mine or anything like that. And he put pro-am bullet butt.
Yeah.
And me and Joe just astounded. He must have seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
He don't know what I used. Or
No.
and he must have seen the way
Just
it
saw
bent.
the way it bent.
And he put on this comment, pro-am bullet butt.
Right.
And we was just gobsmacked.
Yeah.
Me and Joe Plumpsey, we couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
But he must have known by the
The
curve
curve,
of it.
yeah.
Because you couldn't see the rod properly.
No.
Pro-am bullet butt, he went. Just like that. And well, he's #1 caster in the world, isn't he? And he just picked that up. Amazing.
Yeah. Steve said he'd heard it on a Welsh video. They said that everyone is using them, so you can't call them dongles anymore. I don't know why. Right, I'm just scrolling through here because I'm very conscious of the time. We're well overrun because I was only going to run it for an hour, but it's been really good tonight.
So I'm going to spend the rest of my life in the shop.
Yeah. What's Tony's opinion on A4 rods?
Yeah, I liked them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe they're Yukis, aren't they?
I mean, he said he's thinking of trying to go over to a TTG SM. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, an A4 is a Yuki rod, I believe, and they're quite nice, to be honest with you. They got a lovely carbon finish on them.
Yeah.
Sold a couple. I sold one to Mark Edwards. Oh no, he brought them in.
Yeah.
And I sold them for him. Sorry.
Oh right, okay.
And they're quite a nice rod actually for the money. They're quite forgiving, and I think you'd be all right with that. But I don't do Yukis anymore, but I can get them.
Yeah.
But you've got to decide which way you're going and stuff.
No. And there's so many different.
I think what I was saying earlier on, when you deal with the smaller companies, they haven't got to make so much profit. So the Black Rocks of this world and the Akios, you get a good deal. When you're getting pen buying thousands, and basically they all come from the same area. They've got to put on all their staff money and everything. So I tend to stick with companies that are like almost one-man bands because basically there's more that they're able to give you more profit. See what I mean? Well, not so much more profit. They're able to give you a better price.
Yeah.
Because they haven't got to make so much profit.
Yeah.
Because they haven't got to pay 80 staff. See what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how Sonic started off, but they've grown. But that's how they started off because he had a very Ian McCormack had a very small skeleton staff. So therefore he was bringing in rods, carp rods, which were coming from the same place as Gray's, right? And basically because he worked for Gray's, he was director when he took. So he's bringing them in, and he didn't have to put so much markup on them.
No.
So then, in the end, that's how they started. Now they're big, you know. Sometimes big isn't brilliant, you know.
Yeah. David Checksfield, I'm going back to the multiplier. Can't get him with a fixed ball. Don't know whether the guy with the 7HTs will be interested in my bullseye. It's mint condition.
God, I could have done a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Joe Plumps's boy wanted to, but yeah, we could work something out, Dave, if you want, because they're nice reels.
Yeah. If you want a pen Rampage 215 foot, Rampage 2 15 foot with surf blaster, please gents, mainly off the beach for big bass, thanks.
What, my view on it, what?
Yeah, I think it's
all right, just a bit heavy.
Yeah.
A bit old fashioned, but they cast well.
Yeah.
No, it's one of the original ones, and they cast well. But I think they're getting a little bit dated with the way things are going now. They're much lighter and thinner, you know what I mean? Yeah. But they do cast well, that Rampage.
Yeah. Just want to, I'm coming to the end of this now, guys. There's a couple of, I've scanned through a lot of stuff that weren't asking questions. So if you think I've blanked you, it's not intentional. Jason, I know, popped up and said hello. Jason Scott, the Eastbourne fisherman. Hello, Jason. I did try ringing you this afternoon, actually. Not answer your bleeding phone.
He never does. He message you.
Yeah. Right. What do I need to make sure I've got for the match on Sunday? This is Carl Bennett. Well, a bucket.
A bucket, yeah. Some lug.
Yeah.
Some rag.
Some rigs.
And some rigs. That's all you need.
Yeah. Weights would be good.
And some impact leads.
Yeah.
I can sell you your rigs if you want. They're all done to spec on the wall.
Yeah.
I'll give you plenty of advice when you come in. You'll be all right.
Yeah, and make sure you comb your hair just in case I do turn up and film it.
Yeah. Are you not filming Sunday then?
No, because it's Remembrance Sunday, isn't it?
I thought you didn't want to stand out in the rain, you told me.
Well, yeah, but it's standing out in the rain.
filming
Other ways, standing out in the rain, isn't it?
I hope you're filming when we weigh in. No?
Well, the trouble is, the Remembrance thing is at 11 o'clock. And your match is on at 12, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, because I thought was maybe I'd get and do the last 2 hours of it, but I won't because the match is 8 till 12, isn't it?
Yeah,
so,
oh well.
I
might win anyway if you're not coming.
Well, that's what I said. You know, you are going to win. You
That's
will
just
definitely
increase my chances by about 30%. You know that, don't you?
Right, everyone. I mean, thanks very much. You've got about 3 minutes to ask any more questions, and then I'm going to call it a night. Oh yeah, fish measure. Stephen Kerr, a fish measure. And I'll tell you what I always forget. A pen. Bring a pen with you. Because you can guarantee you go to the bloke next to you and he ain't got a pen as well, and you're trying to fill your sheet in and what have you. And I think it's going to be quite wet on Sunday, so you might want something to just keep your score sheet in so it doesn't get all soggy. Because it makes it really hard at the weigh-in when everything's got soggy bits of paper. And to follow my rules on match fishing, cup of tea and a sticky cake. You guarantee you'll catch fish.
Yeah, nice one.
All right. Sunday shorts on, Tony. Are you going to wear shorts Sunday?
No, not this week.
No.
It's now the witching hour, isn't it? I'm having to ditch the shorts, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Which is quite sad.
It was cold today, wasn't it? Jesus. Yeah. Right. Thank you. Keep up the cracking videos. Thank you very much. Fun outdoors. Yeah. Thanks, Richard. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. There's 223 watching at the moment. There's only 151 of you has given us a thumbs up. So please, before you go, just ping it. In fact, I've got to go because my battery's running out as well. So, yeah, guys, keep watching the channel. Loads more coming out. I've got a few videos that are still in the pipeline to be done. I won't be there on Sunday, but yeah, it's good night, Tone.
Thanks very much.
Good night from me.
Take care.
Cheers, guys.
Bye-bye.